Hello everyone! If this is your first time to my videos, hey, how's it going? Welcome to my channel. My name is Emily and today I am bringing you a very special video to me, and that is my most perfect Z palette that I've ever created, and I am so freaking excited to show you guys because this is all I do in my free time other than play Animal Crossing, is organize my makeup. If I look like complete garbage today, that is because I did not sleep last night. I was up organizing my makeup and being weird and being, I don't know, just a freaking weirdo. If you see these eye bags, that is what is happening on the face. People are walking by and they are staring at me in the window. Keep walking. Today I'm going to be bringing you my Z palette that I have created, and this is my most prized possession in my makeup collection. Like, if everything else went away, which God forbid that it does, because I will explode into a million pieces and cry. If everything were to go away and I only could choose one piece of makeup, I would take this Z palette with me because it is my absolute baby. I have spent hours, and I'm not even kidding when I say hours, but yeah, hours, rearranging it and putting it together and moving it from Z palette to Z palette to try and find the perfect one. If you are interested in these types of videos, I do hope that you consider subscribing down below. I have all sorts of makeup goodness on this channel and much more to come. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into the video. There she is in all her beauty. This palette I've put a lot of work into. Like, I'm not even lying when I say that I've put hours into this, and maybe you're gonna look at it and be like, well, you did not put hours of work into that, it looks like a 3-year-old monkey did that. But I think that this is amazing, and I am impressed with myself for putting this together. Basically what we have here is we have it split right down the middle. So right here in the center, we have the orangey red side for when I want to do more orangey and red looks, and then we have the peachy and the berry side when I want to do the more peachy berry looks. Now I should probably get started by saying that I typically don't really stray too far from my typical 3 looks. I mean, I'll try and kind of step out of my comfort zone every now and then, but for the most part I stick to this. And I'll either do a yellow, orange, red sunset look, or I do a more berry look where I use peachy transitions and then deepen it up with berries in the crease, like what I'm wearing today. And don't judge me for this makeup look today, because this morning when I went to do my makeup, I found out that my makeup brushes still had soap in them. But I had already started putting my eyeshadow on, and let me tell you, it was a freaking struggle, to say the least. But alas, we are here and we got it done. So if you're wondering what's going on with my face, I told you, I didn't get sleep. I'm kind of a hot mess, but I'm just so excited for this video. So basically what I'm going to be doing for this video is showing you basically row by row what I picked out for this palette and what are my essential go-tos, because this is basically my life palette, I believe is what the cool kids call it these days. A lot of these are single shadows, but a lot of them are depotted shadows from palettes as well. Like I've mentioned in previous videos, I tend to depot stuff, and even if I like try to keep a palette around without depotting it, I end up depotting it anyway when I'm bored. Something about the makeup not being all together and being color coordinated freaks me out. I don't know, I have many more Z palettes and I will do more videos on those, but that is not what today's video is about. Today's video is about this bad boy, and let's go ahead and get right on into the shadow. So the first shadow that I have here is Sugarpill Butter Cupcake, and this is a matte, hot, bright, vibrant yellow, and I like to use this for a transition shade when I'm doing more reddish toned looks. This next one over here is Devinah's Canary Yellow, and this one is kind of a brat to work with. These are called electric body pots or something like that. I'll link it down below, but they are very powdery and they produce a lot of fallout, and it's because they're so neon. I have another one in here that I'll point out later, but they are very neon and they feel like chalk when you put your finger in them, but they actually blend out pretty nicely on the eyes. You do get a lot of fallout, but you get a lot of fallout with a lot of shadows, but this one in particular, there's just a little bit extra. This one needs a little bit of babying if you're going to use it, but I do find that the color is really, really nice, and I like it for that reason, and I'm willing to work with it for that reason. Now the next shade in the palette here is Devinah's Capri. This one is one that I got suggested to me by Angelica Nyquist, and this is a light warm yellow color, and this is absolutely amazing for starting out a crease transition shade for a orangey red toned look. The next one that I have in the line here is Sydney Grace Lemon Cream. Now this was suggested to me by, I believe it was Angelica Nyquist as well, or maybe Georgia Harris. I don't know. I can't keep up. But this is a really, really pale light yellow, and it's absolutely amazing for the transition shade because it's not too pigmented and it's not so vibrant. So if you're not really going for just straight up bam 80s electric in your face, then you can just grab this guy, and it's a little bit more muted and a little bit more kind of cream colored, and it works really, really well for a transition and a lid shade. These next three over here are actually from the Lorac Megapro 4 palette. I depotted that bad boy. It was calling my name. I had to do it. I had to. I couldn't stop myself. The white one is Pink Peony, which doesn't make a lot of sense because it is white, but nonetheless, I did not name these. The middle one is Cool Taupe, and the last one is Flamingo. And this is basically just a stark white shade, a tan shade, and then a really, really light pink shade. The next one in line here is Nabla Cosmetics Peach Velvet. This one is absolutely freaking amazing, and the name is so fitting for it. It's really, really velvety to the touch, and when it goes on your eyes, it blends out so nicely and so pigmented, yet still really even, and Nabla shadows have barely any fallout. So they are amazing. I am very, very happy with what I've gotten from that brand so far, and your girl is going to be buying more. The little guy up here in the corner is actually from the Colourpop Kathleen Light's Dream Street palette, and this is in the shade Magical, and it is a light, warm peach. This guy over here in the corner is Tiki by Colourpop. It is a warm mid-toned yellow, and it has a little bit of shimmer running through it, but to be honest, I don't really notice it on the eyes. I use it as a transition shade, and when I'm using these lighter yellows, I like to deepen it up a little bit and give a little bit more dimension with the warmer, deeper yellow down here. The next guy that is crumbled because I decided that it would be a good idea to depot my Sugarpill shadows out of their little cases. It does not work out well when you are not using heat. You have been warned. It is Flamepoint by Sugarpill, and it is the most hot, vibrant, true to color orange that you will get on the market. The one next to that over here, the peachy pink color, is Suburbia by Sugarpill, and I bought this one because Georgia Harris said it was good in one of her Sugarpill videos, or some video where she was talking about Sugarpill. She said it was awesome, and I die for peachy pink colors. The next one up here, this little tiny ivory guy there, is actually from a discontinued Marc Jacobs palette. I don't know if you remember the Lolita palette. Lolita? Is that it? I thought that was Kat Von. But it is a light ivory shade, and they did remake the Marc Jacobs palette, so I'm sure that there's something like that in their new line. It's all on Sephora. I haven't looked into those because I didn't really find the Marc Jacobs shadows to be too crazy amazing, but this one in particular is really, really pigmented, and I used to use it to set down my base, and it's a nice shade. The one next to it is Sorbet by Makeup Geek, and it is a light, kind of cool toned pink shade. I have a lot to say about Makeup Geek, and I will wait till I get to one of my favorite shadows ever created to talk about it. So, you just wait. The next little guy next to Sorbet here is actually from a Marc Jacobs palette as well, one of the discontinued ones, and it is a light, kind of cool toned baby pink shade as well. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on over into here and finish out the row here. So this little guy right here is from the Colourpop Yes Please palette, and it is in the shade Full Zip, and it is a warm ivory color. The one next to it is a hot pinky red, and it is from Colourpop, and it is Fortune Cookie. The orange guy over here is Centerfold by Colourpop. It is a neon, super pigmented, orangey peach color, and I live and die for these shades. I have ones very, very similar throughout this palette, as you can see, but I can never have enough. The one that looks almost identical to it is Best Coast Scenario by Colourpop, and they are just ever so slightly off by like a hair. Like a tiny hair. Like, you're not going to notice this on the eyeballs, but I like having them. It makes me happy to have them, and if I hit pan on this guy, then I kind of have a backup. See what I'm saying? Logic. And this guy right here, who looks like he's about to crumble all over my pants and fall out of the pan, is the Devinah Electric Body Pot in La La Orange. This is my other one that I have in this palette, and this one is the same situation as Canary Yellow up here. It is very, very neon, but because it's so neon, the formula is really, really kind of chalky. It's a weird formula. It's a weird formula, and it produces a lot of fallout, and it's kind of difficult, like I said earlier. But have you ever seen a shadow that color? And it's true to color. Like, let me tell you, it looks like that on your eyeballs. It takes a lot of working with to get it to look like this, but it does, and that's all that matters. I like it. I'm willing to work for it. I'm willing to work for you, okay? Just don't take advantage of that. So next in the row here is Love Plus by Sugarpill. Oh my god, there's such a cute fluffy dog outside. It's the same dog from yesterday. That dog walks by every single day. He's so fluffy. I want Mr. Fluffy. So the next guy in the row here is Love Plus by Sugarpill. It is a super, super vibrant matte red, and I've heard people describe this as the best matte red on the market. I think it's really good. I think it's kind of the same as all the rest of my matte reds, to be honest. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong, but it's not like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. But I don't know, maybe I'm just not as skilled as the people who really, really enjoy it. I do like having it though, and I think it's nice. It's a really, really true red color, so I like red. This is nice to have in my collection. The one next to that is Bloody Mary by Suva Beauty, and as you can see, it's a way more vibrant, hot, kind of orangey red, and to me, this looks like a Bloody Mary. You know, the drink with the tomato juice. This literally looks like tomatoes to me, and I love it. It's amazing for the crease, and it goes on a little bit more sheer, which some people might not like, but for me personally, I kind of like it for that reason. It gives me a wash of the tomatoey red throughout the crease, and then I can deepen up with the deeper reds down here. So I like it for that purpose, but some people might not like it because it's a little bit more sheer. The next guy over here is the Dose of Colors Sassy Siennas palette, and you'll see that I have a lot of Dose of Colors depotted shadows in here because they are some of my favorite formula, if not my favorite formula. They are really, really, really freaking good. And if you haven't tried them, I definitely suggest it because I think the palettes are only like $32 or $34, and they're pretty reasonably priced, and the color selection is amazing. But I am not here to sell you Dose of Colors. I am here to show you my palette. So this is a corally peach color in the shade Oh So Sassy. Oh So Sassy. Doesn't that just remind you of Graveyard Girl? Sassy, 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 so sassy. I miss her. I don't watch her as much as I used to, but she is amazing. I need to start watching her more. The next little peach shade here in the center is from the Element of Surprise palette by Colourpop. This is just a regular old light peachy shade. This is just your run-of-the-mill regular old peachy shade that I have scattered throughout the rest of the palette, and it is in the shade Go With The Flow. This more cool-toned pinky red shade down here is Max Passionate. I've had this shade forever, and I like it, but I think I hit hard pan on it pretty fast. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but it has hard pan on it, and it still performs well, but it swatches awful. And I'll show you guys in the swatches later. You're going to see it, and you're going to be like, that shadow sucks. But on the eyes, it's a little more sheer than I would like it to be, but I love the color so much that, you know, I'm willing to work with it. So the square guy over here is actually Rebirth from the Venus palette, and the other square guy down here is also from the Venus palette. Yes, I depotted my Venus palette. I don't really care that much. I mean, the packaging's pretty, but I just ordered the XL palette, and I'll just look at the packaging on that one and probably depot it too. And saw on Dupe That's swatches on Instagram that almost all of the shades in the original Venus are in the Venus XL, and I already have the original Venus, so I'm a little kind of like turned off by that. Is that the right word? I don't know. What is up with brands doing that? That's not for today. That's a different day. Not today. I'm gonna get upset over this next one. This one that I've hit pan on here. This is one of my most favorite shades ever created, and it is Poppy by Makeup Geek. And when I was researching for this video, in the links to link down in the description box, I found that Marlena took Poppy off the website. Why in the world would she take this beautiful, beautiful, hot, coral orange poppy color? Poppy was the perfect name. It's Poppy. off of the website. It's like she wants to remove all of the good shades and just leave the frickin' browns and the poop colors. She'll take away Poppy and give us lipsticks that no one wanted from her. Like, come on. I want to make a whole video on Makeup Geek and Marlena in general, and I think I will, because why not? But Poppy is discontinued, and I am having an aneurysm about it. The next guy up here is Sura by Devinah Cosmetics, and this is a really hot kind of orangey coral color, and it's really close to Poppy, just a little bit deeper, and it applies a little bit differently than Poppy. So to me, they are different. They are. Don't come for me. The guy down here in the corner is actually from the Morphe 3502 palette. Creative with the name Morphe. And it's like a really kind of vibrant, hot red color. It's not super amazing. I think the Suva Beauty one's a little better, but this one I kind of keep here for just mixing around. I can just tap my brush into this guy and it will lighten everything up a little bit. The one next to that is a more blue-based, kind of deeper red color. It's a lot more cool toned than the rest of the reds that I have, and it is Elithia by Devinah Cosmetics. They do red shadows really well. They do shadows really well in general. I really like Devinah. They've become one of my favorites over the past couple months. The little guy over here is another shadow from the Kathleen Lights Dream Street palette. The hot orangey coral color here is from the Sassy Sienna's palette, again in the shade Foxy. That guy, the little bar in the middle there, is actually from a Korean brand called Etude House, and I had this palette for a really long time called the Floral Gardens palette. I'm not sure. I'll link it down below. But it is a really kind of hot, vibrant, neon pinkish color, and I'll show you in the swatches, but it's got a little bit of a sheen to it, but once you actually blend it into the crease, it's a really nice shade, and the palette was only like $12, I think, and you can buy Etude House on Amazon or on their regular website. So I suggest checking out the Rose Garden palette, which is what this one is from, and it's in the shade Hand Tied. So moving on down to the deeper purple over here, this is from the Colourpop Element of Surprise palette, and this is in the shade Blank Canvas, which doesn't make a lot of sense because it is a burgundy purple, and usually blank canvases are, you know, white, but that's okay. These two shadows are from the Natasha Denona Joya palette, and let me tell you, when I say that these are absolutely phenomenal, they are absolutely phenomenal. They are in the shade Red Grape and Fuchsia, and Red Grape is a metallic, deep, warm, kind of rusty berry color, and Fuchsia is a really vibrant, hot, almost warm fuchsia. It's not quite cool toned, I don't think. The palette is pretty warm itself, and I really enjoy this specific palette, and I think that she should come out with more, or maybe like an all matte palette, but I definitely think she should stick to the 5-pan palettes for a cheaper price. I think that people are more willing to buy that than the, you know, $250 palettes. Just my opinion. The berry shade in the corner over here is from the Dose of Colors Blushing Berries palette in the shade Berry Pop, and it is a really kind of cool toned berry color. To me, this one's really nice, but I have better berries. I just got the Jeffree Star Blood Sugar palette, and those are warm berries in that palette, and I am a huge fan of warm berries. Cool toned berries almost look a little bit more like a bruise on me. I am very warm toned. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I am so warm toned, it's crazy, and cool tones look so incredibly awful on me. So I stick to warm tones 9 out of 10 times. I like my comfort zone. The little tiny guy in the corner over here is from the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills in the shade Cypress Umber, and it is a deep cocoa chocolate brown. And I know, don't kill me that I depotted the Modern Renaissance palette. Mine was so dirty. That packaging gets so dirty. It's so stinking cute, but it gets so dirty. So I just depotted it. I couldn't stand looking at the dirt anymore. And I tried washing it, and I tried using Lysol on the packaging, and it was a lost cause. I'm sorry. Don't come for me. The red guy in the corner over here is Huda Beauty's Man Eater palette from the Rose Gold palette. This is almost a burnt, kind of rusty red color, and I really like it. I think it's pretty. I think it's nice for deepening the crease and deepening the outer V, especially when I'm using these lighter colors. This really does a good job at deepening everything up. It doesn't really look like it would, but trust me. The next little square guy over here is Muse from the Venus 1 palette. It is a just deeper burgundy red shade, nothing too special, but I do like it, and I like to have it in this palette. The chocolatey brown shade right over here is from the Dose of Colors Sassy Sienna palette in the shade Stay Sassy. The big purple guy smack dab in the middle there is Suva Beauty's Hookah. This was my go-to berry shade for the longest time. It is a really warm purpley berry color. It's a little too purple for me to call it berry, and as you can tell, I'm obsessed with berry colors. I want to find the perfect berry shade, and I think I did in the Jeffree Star palette, and I could do a review on that palette, but I'm a little bit nervous to be honest, because I know everyone hates him, and people have a reason to. Don't get me wrong, but let me tell you, that palette is freaking bomb. But I totally understand not wanting to purchase from him and not wanting to see a channel do a review on them if you don't support the person, you know what I'm saying? So if you want a review, I can totally do it, but if you do not, then I'll just go ahead and leave it as is, and I'll just wear it on my eyeballs. The next little square pan over here is Anastasia Beverly Hills Love Letter from the Modern Renaissance palette. This was the shade that got everyone hyped up about that palette, in my opinion. This was something new that we hadn't really seen, and especially paired with the oranges and paired with the brown and the reds. This really rounded out the palette to me. This was the standout shade, and so I put him in my life palette, and I love him very much. This warm blackberry shade over here is from the Dose of Colors Blushing Berries palette in the shade Mixed Berries. I think the names for the shadows in that palette are so cute. I love it. I love when companies have cute names, especially when they're related to food. I am a sucker for that kind of stuff. But not in like a two-faced way. That's just overkill. I think it's cute when it's like subtle, like this. I like that. The more deepened wine color down here is from the Dose of Colors Marvelous Mauves palette. I have 3 out of the 4 palettes that they offer. I don't have the baked browns baked browns. I don't have the baked browns because browns don't really appeal to me too much. Neutrals aren't really my cup of tea. And this guy is in the shade Wine Stain. This little fella up here that's kind of hiding in between the deep shades is from the new Wet n Wild Rosé in the Air palette. It's supposed to be a dupe for the Modern Renaissance palette. As you can see, here's Love Letter, and then here is their dupe for Love Letter, and I think it's really close, but Love Letter is way more pigmented and way more blendable. But this is really nice if you want to get something like the Modern Renaissance palette, but you don't want to shell out 42 bucks. This one is like $5. So I say go for it if you've been looking at it. It's $5 and it's good, don't get me wrong. It just needs a little bit more attention and a little bit more caring and nurturing, but you'll get there. You'll get there. And the very last little guy hiding over in the corner over here is from the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Contour Quads in the Plum shades. This is the deepest shade in the Plum palette, and I depotted it. If you want to take one thing away from this video, I am going to tell you, do not try to depot the Kat Von D Eye Contour Quad palettes, because they will explode all over your floor, and it is the hardest palette I've ever come across to depot, and I am like an avid depotter. Like, I depot stuff all the time. I will break my shadows and I'm just like, okay, whatever. It's a casualty. I'll just repress it. I'm kind of that person. I'm a little reckless, but that palette was a freaking mess. Do not do it. Do not do it. Don't be tempted. Don't fall in to the temptation. Guys, that is going to complete this video. My throat is like sore from talking so much. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, that was a lot. I'm not used to talking that much at one time without anyone stopping me. I absolutely love putting palettes together, and I plan on doing this all the time on my channel because I have many Azzy palettes that I plan on showing you guys, as well as some ideas for new ones that I want to create, and some unique ideas, I think. So I'm really excited to be bringing you guys those videos. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe down below, and if you would like to, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up never killed no one. I do hope that you are having an absolutely amazing day wherever you are, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!